we're going to do some mature eyeshadow. What does that mean? I think it means something a little bit different to everyone. I think to me, it means eyeshadow however the person wants on their mature face. And I think to other people, it sometimes means something completely different. And I feel like people have sort of twisted it around and then they turn it into a dagger to force other people into their way of doing things. And that is just not going to work for me. So we're going to do mature eyeshadow on me. I'm mature. I'm 58. Well, I have mature skin. Let's put it that way. I don't know how mature I am. We're going to use a little bit of eyeshadow primer. Now, eyeshadow primer is really helpful if you have oily lids or if you put on eyeshadow, any eyeshadow, and it just wrinkles up on you during the day. You get those little lines in your eyeshadow and it just kind of folds in the little creases, or if it just kind of slicks off or disappears through the day, eyeshadow primer will help with that. I have several here, but we're going to focus on these two. This one is by Urban Decay, and it is the, wait a minute, I want to make sure I get this right. It is the anti-aging. Okay, whatever that means. What does that mean? What does anti-aging mean to you? Does that mean you're going to die because you're going to never age again? What a ridiculous term to use. And then the other one is the Revlon Color Stay Eyeshadow Primer. Now, here's the thing. Used to, I think when I bought this, it was like $4. And when I bought this, it was like $14. And I know that the prices change a lot, so I'll try to put both products on this video. But here's the way I feel about these two products. I feel like they're exactly the same thing. I mean, I had eyeshadow on earlier. I actually put it on one eye with the Urban Decay, and then I put the other on with the Revlon, and I cannot feel or see any difference. So whichever one is cheaper is the one I would go with, because they just look identical to me and they feel identical. And they probably are identical. And if I had any more time, I would actually look into the ingredients. So just a tiny little bit, because you can actually put too much eyeshadow primer on, and then what happens is it creases up. So we're just going to, you know, if you have to rub your eye like me, go ahead, just be gentle about it. And wherever you're going to have that eyeshadow, even if it's all the way out here, make sure you just apply a little bit of primer there so that you're all set. And it takes it just a minute to sort of dry down. Don't need a lot. I've got everything on besides concealer and eyeshadow. So we're going to play around with one of these two soft glam palettes that I have by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love these. They're so blendable. Here is the big one. And here is the little one. And let's see if I can show them side by side. Voila. So really, probably all you need is this one, but I like the extra shade range in the bigger one. And the bigger one comes with its own brush as well. I'm beginning by applying that base color all over my lid. Once I get this on, it's going to make the other colors easier to blend. Just remember, powders blend better over other powders. All right, now I think what I'm going to do is go in with this warm color right here. And I'm just going to bring that up pretty high. Using a little stippling motion. I'm just going to tap the color in. Now notice I didn't tap off this color, and that is just because I rubbed it into my hand, so there was really no reason to. So I'll just go back and grab some more. Let's go ahead and get that looking really smooth. That looks smooth. All right, that is looking really smooth though. I really like that. So you may hear my dog in the background. He is just 5 or 6 feet away, and he's liable to yawn or stretch and maybe even poot while we're having our conversation about eyeshadow. And I've tried to train these things out of him, but he's really not going for it. I like that. I like the way that looks for just an everyday pretty color. That's really gorgeous. I'm going to go ahead, since I've got these great big long eyelashes on, I am going to just bring this softly out to the side, and it's kind of into, well, it's definitely into my temple. And I'm going to just swoop it up very lightly. Like, it's so light that if you saw me on the street, you would not know that I had done that, because you can't really tell it's eyeshadow without knowing the trick. But it does kind of give you this nice elongated look, which I love an elongated eye. I also love kind of a rounded eye, but today we're doing elongated eyes. So I'm going to bring it out here. The only thing is, if you're really, really thin, which clearly I'm not, you don't want to do that so much in the temple area, because the temple area, you know, if you're very, very thin, you can start to look a little skeletal there if you get a dark color in there. So just a word of caution if you're very, very thin. And then we'll come in and fix all these little imperfections with some concealer once I'm done with the eyeshadow. But this stuff just blends. It just blends so well, which is why pretty much every time I do eyeshadow now, I just grab my Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm like, that's the stuff. Even though I have other things that blend this well, I just like it. But when you use these dark colors, you really want to tap off the excess, but you always want to kind of test it on the back of the hand first. Just work it into the brush, because if I went to my eye with all of that like this, it's not going to look good. I'm going to have to apply the dark colors really, really thinly and finely, and apply a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time is all we want. So I'm going to make my contour line right here. Now I have a hooded eye, so I have to bring my contour line up a little bit because I really don't have a contour. So I'm just making a little contour. Just gonna make a little contour. I have to keep an eye on my camera because it keeps turning off on me. Little stinker. So it's just the tiniest amount of color on that brush, so I'm able to blend at the same time. And I'm just going into that eye socket a little bit. Just start it above, because what you want to do with hooded eyes is you want to make sure that your color comes up high enough to where when your face is completely relaxed, that the color can still be seen. So that's all I'm doing. And then I'm going to bring it down into the socket. I'm not going to worry about coloring my lid with that, although I could, and it would give me a completely different look. But we'll do that in another video. Then I'm going to grab more of that color. Such a pretty color. And again, I'm just testing it here to see how dark it's going to go on before I actually go to my eye. Took me many, many, many mistakes to figure out, to test things on your own skin, especially to see how they're going to look before you actually do it on your face. I messed up a lot of makeup doing that to learn that hard lesson so you don't have to. Again, I'm just going to go out here. Now, if your skin wants to pull like that and it causes little skips in your makeup, then use a stippling motion instead of a swiping motion, okay? Go back and forth where you can to work it in between all those little creases, and then use a stippling motion where you can't. It's not a big deal. You can do this. All right, I think I'm going to, I'm really liking that. I am going to use the opposite end of my brush after I cleaned it off. Make sure I don't have any weird colors on there. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of that dark color right from my hand. And that way, hopefully I don't get too much. I'm just gonna go right under. And this should be nice and soft since I've barely got anything on there. Come under and do this nice and soft and just give myself a little smudged out look. I just personally find that really, really sexy. Just bringing that under a little bit. You can bring it out here. So when you think about eye shape, the beauty standard is to make your eye shaped like an almond. So an almond can kind of point out this way, or it can point upward. So however you do it, just keep that in mind that you want it to sort of be shaped like an almond, and that way you can keep the balance of everything kind of on point. So I hope that makes sense. And I'll come in and fix this here with concealer in a little bit. But right now I just wanted to get the color on there, and I'm not even going to bring it up top. I'm just going to leave it open-ended. All right, let me go ahead and show you what I mean by I left this open-ended. Grabbing some of that really super light color, and I'm just going to leave this part here sort of open so it looks like there's an escape. See? You don't have to do it this way, but it can be really pretty depending on how your eye is shaped. You don't always have to do, you know, that dark outer corner. It's pretty, but I kind of like the way that this allows some escape too. So depending on your eye shape, give it a try. You might like it. It's kind of like one of those things that they did in the 60s with the white eyeliner. If you've ever seen that, just gives it a little escape. Everything doesn't have to be the same all the time. These lashes are huge. I normally would not wear ones this long unless I was actually going somewhere where I wanted to fly away. No, where I wanted to have a really dramatic look, like a concert or something, you know? I'm going to use my French Face Concealer because it's got that good blurring in it. Just going to grab a little bit here. I'm wearing this in the Fair Peach. I've got a discount code for you if you haven't tried this yet. It's got blurring. It's nice and hydrating. And what I love about it is you can just tap it in place, right? Tap it in place. You don't have to worry about it drying because it's so nicely moisturizing. But it also doesn't slip all over my face. Just patting it into place, and then you can come up like this and kind of sculpt the eye a little bit. And if you have too many wrinkles for that, just pat it in a line, pat it in place. Clean, dry finger, patting it out, pushing it into the skin. That's what we're doing. We're pushing it. You can do it slowly. You don't have to do it fast, but we're pushing it into the skin. And when you do that with your makeup, it gives you this beautiful skin-like look. So it just looks like your skin. But that concealer's got a little blurring in it, so it looks like my skin, but better. Okay, now, if you have this part out here and it's bothering you, or it's pointing downward, just take a little bit of the concealer and tap it over. And it'll just soften it so that it just looks nice. Now, you still have that lifted look, but it's not dragging the eye down. So let's do the other side. Add a little bit in here for brightening. Don't have to worry about blending it perfectly. soon as you get it on there, just tap it into place. I like a little tiny concealer brush like this. I can link this set for you if you don't have one. It's very, very inexpensive, but it's really small, gets in all those nooks and crannies. And then I'm just using the tiniest bit. Again, you can stamp it out, swoop it out, however you do it. And then I'm just going to pat it into place. What I like about this, other than the blurring, of course, and the hydration, is that it does last me all day. And some people love to wear powder with this and powder, you know, powder it and keep it in place. But this is just the way I do it. I do it this way and it works for me. So I don't need any powder, and I like it. And that's it. There we have kind of a wide, doe-eyed look. I hope you took something away from this that helped you in your eyeshadow journey for mature eyes. And just remember that when you hear people talk about mature beauty and mature makeup and mature this and mature that, I think about half of what I hear is absolute BS. So take it all with a grain of salt. Do what you want to do for you and make it look right for you. And let's not worry about everybody else's rules, because who made those up anyway? Not you, right? Not me. I'm trying not to make up any rules except to, you know, make up your own rules. One final thing. If you're in the United States, there's a link right about here. And it says something like YouTube affiliate links or something. Creator earns from purchases. So if you have never used that before and you're very suspicious about it, first of all, I don't blame you. But let me explain what happens. They have a bunch of companies like Home Shopping Network, Walmart, Ulta, Sephora, Bloomingdale's, all these neat stores that have linked with YouTube, and they have opted into their affiliate program. When I go in and select products that I've used in the video, it then attaches it to the video. When you tap the affiliate link and you purchase something through that link, it earns me a nice commission. So I appreciate that whenever you do that. The reason that YouTube did this was, I guess there was a bunch of shady links out there. So they wanted to make everything secure. So if you're worried about it, they're very secure. Many times they offer coupons too, because they're trying to get people to start shopping more and more on YouTube. So always look for the coupons. Sometimes there'll be like 5 listings for a product, all the same exact product, but someplace will have it at one price, someplace will have it at another, some of them will have a discount, and so on. So I always try to tag the products that are the best price for you. That doesn't mean you can't go somewhere else and find them for a better price, because I can't price shop all over the world for you. But I do try to do my best for you here. If there's a product that's not available on that platform, then I'll put the link for that in the description. So you've got 2 places to look, because they don't always have every product. And by the way, if you're watching on television, you'll be like, what is she talking about? There's no affiliate link. It's not there, but it's on mobile and it's on desktop, I believe. But if you're watching on TV, it's not going to be there. So if I have a really incredible deal, I'll try to put that right on the front of the video so that you can read it as it goes across. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and check out some of my others.